Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Rush Racing League Division 5 here. We are in round 16 out of 18, heading to the world-famous Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. We had an absolutely beautiful race here last time in Div 2, and I'm expecting nothing less here in Division 5. It's a track that is notorious for tire wear, but also some really good battling, as we saw from yesterday. So, tire management is going to be the name of the game, and we'll have to see how tonight goes. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Ruckus. I'll be your host and commentator for tonight's Grand Prix. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight to the action. We have a full grid here tonight with some new names and some substitutions coming in, some reserve drivers jumping into tonight's proceedings, as we go ahead and get those pulled up for you guys real quick. But hopefully you guys are having a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be watching across the world. So we'll just have to see, as Salmons has actually been disconnected from the session. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back in. That is actually one of the replacements tonight. He is actually replacing Garrido. And then Winter and Milano will be the drivers reserving for Aston Martin, so it's a full reserve lineup for Aston Martin. And there we go. We do have some cars heading out on track. I believe Dona Gorilla has just exited the pits. It'll be either himself or his teammate. Well, now it's both cars, so it was ND&V. The old Monza spec coming out here tonight, which is probably the most beautiful livery of this Formula 1 season, in my opinion. So, good to see this livery in the game finally, officially, and good to see it on track. So here we go. First car is out on track here today. It is, I believe, a singular qualifying session. And that it is, so it's one qualifying session to rule them all, like it was last time out. So you get one qualifying session to set our entire field, and then we go ahead and get right into the proceedings here tonight for 33 laps. Something to note today is Dutch Verstappen can clutch the championship here today. If he wins, then he is 100% guaranteed to get that championship, and I think it's actually any podium that the Mercedes driver gets will result in a championship victory for him. And Dona Gorillas has left the session, so hopefully he'll be able to jump back in whenever he gets a chance to. It'll be interesting because I think this would only be the second division that the championship would be wrapped up in. So we'll just have to see. I think that's officially the case, but alright, and we're going to have to take a quick little moment because I got to invite some drivers real quick. Do apologize, I'm the only comms on duty at the moment, so alright, let's see if I can get I'll get both of them one foul swoop. There we go. Invites to both drivers. Hopefully you guys can get in and stay in. I know EA server shenanigans have been a factor in recent weeks, but we're gonna jump back to ND&V as he's gonna go ahead and continue his up, flying through sector number 2. He's gonna go ahead and turn on the afterburners, turn on the DRS, and he will go ahead and make his way through sector 3. Going through another sweeping right-hander that does an absolute ton of damage to the front left tire, and now they're making their way through turns 13 and 14, past where the old chicane used to be, and he's gonna make it across the line. A 112 to kick things off for the Ferrari. We will see who can go ahead and challenge that. Jackal jumps up into P1 again with a 112.2. Now this is a driver who I believe is currently actually looking likely to be in the lead for the Div 6 standings here. And actually, he's also in a position, if he wins his Div 6 race or has a really good result compared to MPJ, then he will actually win the Division 6 title here tonight. And Jackal has been putting in some really good results here in Div 5. He is 99% likely to jump up a division next season because he has been doing really, really good here in Div 5. So right now we do have some times coming in. Quiet Kick comes up into P4. And we will check in. We'll just see how the rest of things are going to go here tonight. Wintercat will be the next driver in. He made his comeback to Rush, and that is a wrong input there. So we'll get a capture leader. So far our field is separated by just about a second. And so, I mean, it's still early on in the session, so there's a lot of drivers still needing to set times. But you want to get your banker lap in sooner rather than later because it is a singular qualifying session. So in other circumstances, we'd be losing P16 through P20. This time around, it is the entire grid that is going to be set here tonight. So the entire grid will be set in this singular session. So no elimination stages, no drop zones, and it is all going to, it's all going to play a factor here tonight. Apparently there's a impeding with the Alpine. I didn't see that. That must have been Wintercat. But the stewards will have a look at it, and they will give out the punishment or lack thereof if necessary. So we'll just have to see how that points out. Dona Gorilla is now making his way for his next lap, or his first lap. As he's making his way through Sector 1, he's coming through the massive sweeping right-hander. That turn 3 that is absolutely notorious for just absolutely shredding the tires. So I mean, that's a lot of this track really. That's why tire management is so prevalent here at this track. Now, in Div 2, the one stop was the strategy to go. Oblivion almost winning by taking the medium tires 17 laps. And then switching to the hard for the rest of the GP. And there we go. So, Donut Gorilla is going to go ahead and continue to finish off his lap here. Coming through turn number 12. And then making his way through 13 and 14. And he's going to go ahead and go foot to the floor, pedal to the metal. Come across the line. It's going to be time. Good enough for P2. And Aardvark will jump to the top of the timing table with a 1:12.3, just usurping Jackal and demoting Donut Gorilla down into P3. So Ferrari's getting a really good start here to Div 5, and the battle for the constructors and the overalls is still red hot. So Ferrari and Aston Martin, the two top teams at the moment, and they're all gonna just give it everything they got. McLaren is another team trying to give it their all as well. So, I mean, there's so many teams battling for this position. So, taking a look at the overalls coming into this week, it hasn't been updated with the results from the previous 3 divisions that have ran. So, Aston Martin does lead the overalls with a 1,613 points. McLaren with 1,559. So, actually, that makes Aston Martin and McLaren, the two top teams, but Ferrari isn't too far off. Ferrari and Alpine and Williams are all locked in the battle for P3. Also, Mercedes is in that mix as well, so it'll be interesting to see how the overalls will shape up. It is the last 3 race weekends that we have here, so it's going to be pretty much full on all the way to the end. So Salmon's come across the line. He'll come in P4 with a little under 10 minutes left to go. Minmeh is the next driver out on a lap. We'll see where he ends up here in this pecking order. And he'll jump up into P7. Good lap time there for the V-Carb. And the 2 McLarens are now out. And now we begin. Traffic is going to be a bit of a factor here. Sammons is trying to get a cooldown lap going. And then we'll hop on to the driver who could win the championship here tonight of Dutch Verstappen. So we'll just kind of have to see how this one plays out, because honestly this is going to be an interesting session. Now Dutch Verstappen in qualifying, it's been up and down for the Dutchman, but I mean his race results, they speak for themselves, because this man is pretty much in prime position. I think if he gets any podium position, this man's champion tonight. So I mean, this is going to be absolutely crucial. This track has pretty much everything you'd ever want in a circuit. You got high speed corners, low speed and medium speed corners with some really good straights as well. So that's why this track is a really popular track for testing. Particularly the chicane layout is also really popular for preseason testing in some simulators. So we'll see if Dutch Verstappen can utilize this version without the chicane and try to get a pole position to potentially put himself right in a championship winning position. So here we go, and now coming through turn number 12, the sweeping right-hander, and now we go to 13 and 14. And here we go. He's going to go to try to put himself on the pole position. He's going to be actually a bit slow. Well, actually, never mind. I am a liar. Ignore what I said. He's up into third. And crucially, the driver he really needs to be ahead of is actually not in this race. So I think as long as he finishes, a podium would still be ideal. But as long as he finishes, I think he's pretty much good to go for winning this title. So the championship will still go on if he doesn't finish, but I think as long as he finishes, as long as he doesn't finish like 15th and his teammate would have to win with like fastest lap and such, then I mean Dutch Verstappen is in a very good spot to win this title. Going for another lap, it looks like, or I think doing a bit of a recharge lap here. So it'll be interesting, and we have a Red Bull of Asip, who's currently parked off track. If he's there too long, he might have got penned for it. We have seen pens for similar things. Actually, we've seen disqualifications for similar things. So Moenab's up into 8th at the moment, and we are seeing drivers kind of get ready. Some of them are doing their second runs now, but a lot of them are waiting for their final moment. Within the final few moments, the final about 2.5 to 3 minutes of quali to really go out and give it their all, try to go out and get these positions. And once again, it's going to be a difficult one for these drivers too, because tire management is going to be so difficult. If you don't manage your tires well on this track, then you're going to be in Spain without the S. You're going to be absolutely just not having a great time. But if you can keep the tires within their good operating window, then you'll be in a really good spot to win the race. I mean, he didn't win, but we saw it from actually another Ferrari. We've seen it from Oblivion last time in Div 2. Just managing the tires, putting him in a really good spot for his second stint. So we'll see if anyone will take a gamble on that. So apparently the mediums could go almost 18 laps without having to get swapped. So it's a good chance that it's still going to be a one stop here, maybe a two stop if anyone's feeling optimistic or if there's a safety car. But for the most part, it is probably going to be a one stop here tonight. Probably a medium to hard is going to be the likely strategy, but we will see. Crazier things have happened. So we are currently riding with T. Salmons, who's making his way through Sector 2. And he's making his way down the hill, going up the hill a little bit. Oh, and he has a spin into the wall. And that is Salmons having a bit of a rough go of things there. So, definitely not the spot where he wanted to be at. Waiting for a good opportunity. There is Milano coming around, and the Red Bull will get going again. And he will not cross onto the track dangerously. That's always good. I mean, we've seen it a few times where there's been some pretty unsafe rejoins. Actually, I think it was Div 5 Monza, I want to say, where there was a very, very unsafe release. It actually ended Red Bull's quali, so it can happen. It is the final 2.5 minutes or our final 3 minutes of qualifying here. Drivers are we're probably about to see a massive flurry of activities coming through the field and coming out of the pits as drivers get ready to set their final runs here. Ferrari's in a really good spot right now because once again they're still in the hunt for the overalls. So Ferrari's in a really good spot. Aston Martin, they're not exactly in the greatest of spots. McLaren is kind of 50-50. So out of the three main protagonists when it comes to the overalls, then Ferrari is definitely in the best of spots. Alpine is not too far off though. But Alpine's also kind of like McLaren. They're kind of in a mixed situation. They have a driver on pole and the other is in the 16th. So, I mean, and here's the thing too. A bad result in this division, there will be an impact on the overalls, but there's still a bunch of other divisions still coming up. So, in the next couple of days, we do have Div 3, and then I believe Div 6. So, Div 6 tomorrow, Div 3 the following day, and then we go to the reserve program, I believe. So, a lot of action here still to come on Rush Racing League. So we'll just have to see how it goes. To clarify what I meant earlier in chat, I'm saying that Ferrari is in the best position in terms of today's race to really try to make a good impact on their overalls. I know they're currently third in the overalls. I mean, with Alpine pretty much right behind them. So they got McLaren and Aston up ahead. And that might have been a slight bit of impeding on ND&V perhaps, although the Williams was on an outlap, so a lot of drivers really just trying to jockey for a position here. A lot of guys trying to give it a go, and we'll just have to see how this one plays out, because I mean, once again, it's going to be fast and furious here. It's one qualifying session to set the entirety of the grid from P1 all the way down to P20, so it's going to be fast and furious here. We're on board now with the Div 6 championship leader, and the driver has been showing good pace here in the last couple of weeks. It is Jackal. McLaren are going to look for another strong weekend to really try to bolster their position in P2, and ideally they want to try to jump up into P1. I mean, anything's possible. Final 3 weeks of the season. We have this round, and then we have Canada and China to round out the season. No sprints, no 100% races. It is all just business as usual here for the final 3. So we'll just see here. We're going to bounce from driver to driver here as the final 7 seconds on the clock. So this will be the final run for pretty much everybody on track at the moment. And the timer is done. Checker flag is out. Can Jackal jump up in the provisional pole? He'll jump up to second, but that's about it. What about Aardvark? Can Aardvark do something here? Can the current championship leader do something here? Still a lot of drivers coming on through. NDNV will be one of the next drivers to really keep an eye on here, as he's going to go and make his way across the line here soon. A lot of drivers have finished already. Symphony will be the next one to finish up. And NDV will jump up into P2. Nishka P5. And what about the championship leader? Dutch Verstappen gonna make his way across the line. He improves only up to 6th. So crucially, he is ahead of his teammate. And that will be just about enough to clinch the championship here. Donut Gorilla will not improve. What about Salmons? Is Salmons gonna improve? He will not. So our qualifying grid is set for the night. And Aardvark will take pole position here for Alpine. Really good positioning there for the Alpine. But Ferrari is still looking strong here. They're looking to retain that P3 position at minimum here this week. Because them and Alpine are really, really close. So it's gonna be a fun race here tonight. Hopefully you guys do enjoy it as well. I mean, we had an absolute barnstormer last time out. And we will just go ahead and see how tonight goes. Because there's so much on the line here. And here's the thing. Qualifying is one thing. Qualifying is all about getting that one singular perfect lap. But then you have 33 laps to really make a difference. So going through our qualifying order now. Aardvark does get pole position, followed by NDNV, who is less than half a tenth away, followed by Wintercat, Jackal, Donut Gorilla, Dutch Verstappen, current championship leader, and then we have Nishka, Minmass, Salmons, Quackcake, Moe Nabs, J2Z, Symphonic, Kumar, Asif, Flying Kiwi, Patrick, Daz, Old Footy Bender, and Milano, rounding out our 20 car field here tonight. So it's going to be a fantastic night here. And you do have a pretty good run from the start-finish line all the way down into turn 1. So this is definitely going to be a beautiful, beautiful race here. And here we go. Drivers are finalizing their strategies, making any slight tweaks to the setup that they may see fit. And we're going to go ahead and jump straight into 33 laps here. It is overcast, although I've heard no reports of rain being expected, so it might just be a bit overcast, which might help out the tires in terms of tire temps and keeping the tires a bit cooler. So tire management might be a tad easier at this stage, but once again, there's a lot of questions that will be answered as we get ready to go here for 33 laps around the circuit at Barcelona, Catalunya. And drivers are still getting everything situated on their end and making sure that they are ready to get going here for round number 16 of the season. Round 16 out of 18 here in Spain, the last European race of the season, and then we head to North America for Canada, and then we head to Asia to wrap up the season in China. And we are still waiting. Ah, there we go. We see those 5 red lights coming on. Can Dutch Verstappen win the championship here today? It's lights out and away we go, and soon we'll find out. As drivers are making their way, making the run down into turn number 1. Jackal does jump up into P2. The Ferraris have a little bit of contact between the two Ferraris. Donut Gorilla does get past NDV, who had a very rough start. And there is a bit of drama here in the midfield. But everybody does survive the first couple of corners. Okie dokie. And now we are still seeing some really strong battles. Minma trying to get around the outside of Kumar. Jatuzi doing the same to Asif. Lots of positional changes happening here. Coming back up to the front. It's going to be a real battle here in the opening lap, and then also you got to stay within DRS range as well, because DRS range is very crucial on this track. Taking a look at the tires, everybody aside from the Red Bulls will be running on that medium compounded tire. So you'll probably want to get to about lap 15, maybe 16 at the absolute most. You probably actually want to pit in a bit earlier than that. And then you want to jump on the hards for the remainder of the Grand Prix. If you are the drivers who are currently running the hard tires, you definitely need to try to get them to at least probably near the 20s, and then try to jump on to the set of that medium. So once again, strategy is going to play a huge factor. Jackal's pretty much chasing on Aardvark. The two Mammalian drivers are going to go ahead and give it a go. Or two drivers with Mammalian names, essentially. Aardvark now being tracked down by Jackal, the Div 6 championship leader, looking to get another strong result here in Div 5. And they're both on the medium compound tire now. Aardvark will have a slight bit of an advantage. He is in the clear air, and Bender is actually in the pits. And Sammons has had a bit of an issue. Sammons is around just in turn 5. So, bit of difficulty here for some of the Red Bull affiliated drivers. The V-Carb of Footy Bender also having to get a wing replacement. And now jumping back up here to the front, it is going to be Jackal and Aardvark doing battle here. And you're going to have a lot of DRS to play with now, especially on the start-finish straight, because it is a massive run going into turn 1. And it's probably one of the best spots on the track to get an overtake. As Jackal is getting closer and closer, but still not close enough to get a move done here. And we are seeing some really good battles here. Dutch Verstappen has also had a pretty rough start. He's down into 8th position behind his teammates, so he needs to at least get ahead of his teammate to have a chance of clinching this title here tonight. He needs to really try to push for a podium. And oh, Quiet Cake, speaking of his teammate, Quiet Cake has had a bit of a moment there. He's dropped down to P11. So maybe an excursion into the grass might have been the cause of that. As now we jump from one Mercedes to the other, as Dutch Verstappen is going to go to try to put pressure on the Donut Gorilla and try to make some kind of positional change here. As the drivers are pretty much just running single file lines for a good chunk of the track. So it's still early stages. Drivers are still trying to heavily manage those tires. And I mean, you really do not want to burn out your tires here. If you've raced here before, you are well aware that this track will pretty much just put your tires in a world of Spain without the S. And you'll be in a pretty rough spot from there on out if you cannot manage the tires here. Or if you're on a controller, you're also going to be in a tricky spot because controller tire management is a bit trickier compared to the wheel. So, once again, I mean, management is going to be the name of the game here around the circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. But you also need some good pace to go with the management. You got to kind of go 50-50 here. You got to have 50% pace, 50% management is pretty much your primary mode of operation here. Jackal's still trying to get close to the back of Aardvark here. He's going to have DRS. He's going to close the gap. Thinking about a move, but he waits it out this time in that chrome McLaren. He'll probably try to give it a go on that start-finish straight. If you're within about three or four tenths, you have a really good shot of getting an overtake done and dusted on that start-finish straight. So the trick part is keeping that distance coming through some of these corners because of the dirty air. It will make things a bit difficult. And here we go. Wintercat is actually not too far off here, so Aston Martin looking to hold on to their position at the top of the overalls here. And he's got pretty much a front row seat to this excellent battle just up the road ahead. And actually, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick hydration lap, everybody, and enjoy the onboard with Wintercat. We'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you got some water in your system during that hydration lap, as Jacko has gotten a lot closer to Aardvark there. He's going to continue to try to look for any kind of gap here, but if these guys battle too hard, then Wintercat's going to be in a really good position to get an overtake here. And, I mean, pretty much if one of these two has a massive accident, then, I mean, Wintercat's pretty much right in the prime spot. He's definitely the definition of being in the right place at the right time. He got a pretty good gap too. ND and V behind. He was actually under some pressure from Nishka at this stage. So he's going to go and try to pursue the Ferrari while in the DRS zone, making his way down, coming into Sector 3, where he's going to navigate turns 11 through 14 on the track. And here we go. This is going to be probably one of the best spots for Jackal to try to get an overtake, but Aardvark has been doing really good on giving himself enough of a distance between himself and Jackal, where Jackal can do this. Jackal goes in, but by the time they hit that turn 1, just not enough space for Jackal to try and attack. So, once again, really good work being done here by Aardvark. Currently leading the Spanish Grand Prix here in Div 5. And Nishka is actually pretty much right on the back of ND and V as well. So, good battles up and down the field, just like pretty much last night, really. So, we'd love to see some good battles. And actually now, Jacko is under pressure more from Wintercat than Jacko is putting pressure on the Aardvark. So, I mean, we might see Wintercat go in and try to get a move done here. He's close to the back of Jackal. And Jackal is, I mean, both drivers are actually being pretty nice on their battery at the moment. So, I mean, we'll just gonna have to see, because Wildcat could be, or, well, I'm used to referring to the NAEU driver Wildcat. So, Wintercat has a really good chance of being a wild card here in this Spanish GP. Now we'll see if Jackal can close it in. I think he's still a bit too far out. You want to be within 0.3 of a second when you're on that start-finish straight by the time you hit the DRS zone if you want to get the pass done. 0.5 is a bit too far out. 0.4, maybe that's what you usually give or take. So once again, these guys are trying to shake for any kind of move, any kind of potential for a move. But once again, just not finding anything at the moment. Another thing that we actually did miss in the battle for the lead is Dutch Verstappen actually making a pit stop to jump onto the hards pretty early, although that might have been due to damage. And as it sits right now, Dutch Verstappen wouldn't quite clinch the championship. I think he'd be pretty much right on the border of clinching it, but not quite. He needs to score here to clinch that title. That's going to be the big thing with Dutch Verstappen here. He needs to score. But maybe if he can get these tires to the end, then maybe some other drivers will be pitting in or retiring. So he'll maybe get some of those positions back. But it's been a rough start to this Spanish Grand Prix for Dutch Verstappen. But here's the thing about Dutch Verstappen. He's in a position now where even if he doesn't get the championship this time or this time around, he'll 99% get it next week in Canada. So, I mean, he would have to, I think realistically, he would have to DNF all 3 races with Greedo winning at least 2 out of those 3 races to see the championship change hands. But once again, Greedo's not here, so he would have to win the next 2 races, and Verstappen will have to get 0 points. So that is the state of play for the championships here at the moment. Wintercat now trying to chase down Jackal, trying to close it in. I mean, these 2 have been pretty close. I mean, but we also saw 4 drivers get really close in Div 2. So I mean, drivers really just trying to make it to the pit stops, trying to make it to about lap number 15, maybe 14 or 16, maybe. That's probably the range. Between lap 14 and 16 is probably going to be the optimal range for these mediums to go ahead and get exchanged for a set of hards. But we've seen crazier things happen here. I mean, I think I'm still gonna remember Oblivion getting fastest lap and also getting his tires to lap 16, I think, or 17 roughly, on a singular set of mediums, and then he went onto the hard and just had a massive hard charge through the field. Almost got a win there at the end, but we'll just have to see if anyone's going to go on that gamble. But I mean, it's going to be kind of just a race of patience as well. Patience is definitely a virtue, and I know with racing drivers, you kind of want to just go, go, go and get stuff done, but you got to really just try to play it out, because strategy is about half the battle when it comes to racing, especially on a technical track like Barcelona. So once again, it's gonna be margins and management. Gonna be your two main things to really kind of keep an eye on. J2Z now under some pressure from Midman while trying to put pressure on the Donut Gorilla. So once again, it's gonna be a battle of management. Oblivion over here defending his super stint on the medium tires. And here we go. We do have some moves here in the back. Asif will get it moved on to Kumar. He's going to try to fight it out, but Kumar, a little bit of contact between the two, and they're going to scrap it out through turns 2 and 3. And these guys are absolutely going to go ahead and just fire things up. And look at this. Look at Quiet Cake trying to have a bit of a resurgence here, trying to get a move done here as Kiwi and Patrick are into the pits. So they'll be the next drivers making this up onto some fresh rubber, and they're gonna go ahead and get back out onto the racing circuit, as we do have a really good battle here for P9 is the battle that we're seeing at the moment. The battle for the lead still raging on, as well as Aardvark is trying to run away from Jackal, but Jackals and Wintercat have both have just been keeping him honest, as J2Z has been disconnected from the server. We'll try to get him back in. And he has been sent an invite, so there we go. I mean, yeah, 86% on a set of mediums is crazy work. But hey, I mean, it pulled off. You got a P2 out of that one, Oblivion, so we'll see if anyone follows your footsteps this time around, and see if anyone tries to super extend and get the overcut on these mediums. Milano will get a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. One of the Aston Martin reserves here on the night will be the first to get a penalty here. Track limit penalties are a thing on this track. They do happen decently often, but it's definitely not a Red Bull Ring or a Canada when it comes to those track limit pens. So hopefully we won't see any of those tonight. I mean, I know we saw the 10-second speeding pen, but hopefully that's the only penalty we see here tonight. And now Symphonic is trying to close in on Moe Nabs. These guys are getting pretty spicy around here, trying to make moves here in the lower reaches of the points. Symphonic trying to stick it around the outside. He gets forced into the runoff and has a bit of a snap of oversteer coming through turn 11. And that is going to kind of take him out of that battle and jumping back up into our top 10. We do still have Quiet Cake absolutely fighting it. We're going to have to see, and oh, look at this, just up the road, Asif and Kumar still trying to duke it out, still trying to fight for position. And Jackal is going to go ahead and try to, he's still trying to close in, but I mean, it's really just kind of a holding pattern for these guys, as the pit stops should be coming around soon. 14 is probably the earliest point, 18 is definitely the end of that medium tire window. I'm actually really curious. Alright, I will try to send J2Z another one. I'll have to try to do this quick, but okay, now he's not even appearing online. . 'Cause 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 ' actually be towards the back. But we do have some battles still going on here. I'm gonna just try to jump to the end of my friends list because I think that's where it might end up. Unless he's back online, we'll go ahead and do a quick little refresh and see. There he is. Alright, so there we go. He's got another invite now. Hopefully he'll be able to jump back in and retake control of his McLaren. And in that time, we actually did see the Alpine of Aardvark jump into the pits. Jekyll now in the lead of the race, and now he's actually able to get unleashed and start running away from Winter Cat. And now we're going to jump back on board. About it's actually been kind of interesting to watch for the little snippets we have watched here so far. And I mean, it's Asif trying to fight past Kumar and also trying to fight Quiet Cake behind. He's going to try to shake for the inside, but the inside is not there. Oh, contact between the two. Contact between Asif and Kumar. And that could have snapped an end play, which would make things really, really rough here at this stage of the race. And here we go. We have Kumar and Quiet Cake coming into the pits. Kiwi will get a penalty for track limit violations. It's a 3-second penalty for him. And now NDNV will inherit the lead of the race. Asif should actually go for quite a while longer. He could probably make it to about almost lap 20 on the set of hard tires. So that's probably going to be his primary goal. Trying to get to about lap 20 and then come in to swap out onto the mediums. NDNV, we'll see. I mean, I think NDNV, if anyone's going to do the Ferrari strat of Oblivion, then it's definitely going to be NDNV. Actually, we're going to put a prediction here in the chat. Go ahead and start building up some of those channel points for next season. And we'll go ahead and try to get that operating as soon as possible. Maybe before it becomes irrelevant. Yep, it became irrelevant. Never mind. Sorry about that, guys. So no prediction this time around. He will not try to go for the Oblivion stint, where he would burn his medium tires into Oblivion, but tis. And now Ferrari's going to go and swap onto the hard tires to try to get to the end of this Grand Prix. Now Moe Nabs is also not going to go for these the Oblivion stint. And that would leave Jay Tuesday, the only driver yet to go ahead and pit. He's going to be under pressure from Asif. Oh, sorry, that's Salmons. Under pressure from Salmons. He's on, actually also 15 lap old tires, so there's only two drivers who have yet to make a pit stop here in this race. It is Salmons and Jay Tuesday. Although Salmons is pretty much in a spot where he's not expected to make a pit stop because he is on those hard tires, which are good for quite some distance, as we do get Old Footy Bender getting a 3-second penalty, so he'll join the track limit violation club. And it'll be interesting to see who else joins that club, because, I mean, we have seen it where there's been some dramatic last lap penalties, and that could really just throw even the whole championship through a loop. So drivers have spread out quite a bit here. Most of them just trying to get through their pit stop times. I'm actually going to be really curious to see if anyone does go for that Oblivion stint on the mediums. Jay Tuesday is really the only one who could do that at the moment. He's going to go on lap 16, or he's on lap 17 of that tire stint. So Dutch Verstappen, oh look at this, going 3 wide, potentially coming into turn 2. Contact between the Red Bull, Asif and Jay Tuesday. Oh, big drama there. As Jay Tuesday, Kumar, Quiet Cake, and Asif are on the moment there. And that does bring out a safety car, which is going to bunch this field right back up. absolute drama. I think that was involving J2Z, Kumar, Quiet, and Asif. So that is a rough one there. I mean, yeah, the stewards are gonna have a fun time with that one. I wish we had a replay of that, because we caught that kind of like right as it was happening. So I think the onboards and the stewards are gonna have a bit of a tricky time with that one. So we're gonna take a quick moment to get hydrated, everyone. Be sure to grab some water and be sure. I mean, I know energy drinks taste good, I know sodas taste good, but try to get at least a cup or two of water in your system a day. I think the actual daily recommendation, at least based on the USA, is about like 8 cups of water, I think. But still, 10-second collision or 10-second penalty for a collision for Asif for colliding with Moe Nab. So Red Bull having a bit of a tough go at things here as it sits. And now we're seeing a lot of drivers come into the pits, and they may jump on hard tires to get to the end. We'll just have to see. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to kind of see how this one does play out. I mean, safety cars can pretty much change the whole dynamic of a race. We didn't have any last time out in Div 2, but here in Div 5 we did get one due to that incident pretty early on involving Asif, Kumar, and Quiet, and also J2Z. So 4 cars involved in some way or another in that incident, and I mean, it brought out the safety car. So safety car is probably gonna go in, or we'll probably get going around lap 20 to lap 21, as we do have still quite a bit of the field who isn't bunched up on the safety car. And yeah, once again, the strategy, I mean, sometimes the strategy works out for you, sometimes it doesn't. Aardvark's gonna be a driver who's really gonna draw on the short straw here, as he's on 1 lap older tires compared to the rest of the field up front. But we have seen some good defenses. Broadsta actually defended on a older set of hard tires against Oblivion, who was on a fresh set of tires, who had that monster medium stint, and he was still able to defend to win. So I mean, it'll be difficult for Aardvark, I'd say. He would be in a kind of a rough-ish spot compared to Jackal and Wildcap, or Wintercap behind, jeez. But it is still very much possible that he can win this thing, and honestly, I wouldn't count him out yet, because once again, we've seen some pretty good defensive driving, particularly from the Alpine camp. So it'll be difficult to get past the Alpine, and I mean, knowing Aardvark, he's not going to make it easy. So, I mean, while Jackal and Wintercat will have the tire advantage, but can they get past the mighty defense? That is going to be the question of the night. Hopefully you guys are having a good time here tonight. Once again, we are on round number 16 out of 18 here. We have only 2 more rounds left to go after this. We go to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, and then we head to the Shanghai International Circuit in China to wrap things up. No more sprint weekends, no more 100% races. It is just business as usual from here on out. Maybe a rain race at some point, maybe not. We'll just have to see. Safety car does go around again, so it probably will be lap 21 that we'll go back racing, and hey, should be a fun one. So if it's, J2Z getting a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And it looks like maybe some drama happening back here, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, this will be a interesting one. We're going to take a quick step away, and we will come back once we get going. And for now, enjoy the sights and sounds of the pack pretty much getting ready to go racing here. We'll be back. Alright everybody, you saw the notification, but if you didn't, safety car in this lap, Aardvark will control us to green and we'll get back racing on lap 21 out of 33 here at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, and it's a good launch there from Aardvark. He'll take us to green, and Salmons is getting a penalty and more drama, so that might lead to another safety car here. As there's a lot of damage, a lot of wings missing. J2Z is missing a front wing. Daz is missing a front wing. Daz is out. He's retired on track. And I wonder if that is... So that's too soon to breed another safety car, but that could have been absolutely insane. That is pretty crazy stuff here in the opening stages of the restart. As Wintercat's now trying to go ahead and put pressure onto Jacko, trying to get a position there. And that's a crucial battle for the overalls. And actually, the P3 or P2 to P4 is a really, this top 5 is really crucial for the overalls, because all these teams are next to each other. I think as it says right now, Ferrari might. Either Ferrari or Alpine will probably score the most points out of this gaggle of cars for the overalls. But, I mean, all things considered, I mean, between the Aston and the McLaren, that's going to be the closest battle here in terms of the overalls. NDV, though, trying to make for a position. Wintercat driving on the defense. A bit of a slight slide there for NDV, the Vietnamese driver, having a bit of a slide, and oh, what's going on back here? Bender is having to come back into the pits, and Milano's crashed into the side of the pit lane, and that is a VSC. That's not a full safety car, but it is a virtual. So we have lost 4 drivers here, and oh, it is glitching out, and that does actually become a full safety car. So that's another one. So another full safety car here on lap number 22 out of 33. And yeah, Daz is out. He is retired. Daz retired on track. Milano crashed coming into the pits. Bender just retired afterwards, and then Asif also retired afterwards. So 4 retirements here on the night, and I mean, if you're Aardvark, you gotta be thinking like, well, I'm still on 1 lap older tires than the cars behind, but I haven't really got a chance to really stretch my legs on this tire yet, because we've had about half the laps that Aardvark has put on these tires, and actually a lot of the field have been under safety car conditions, so you really only burn up about a third or a half at most of the tire wear that you normally would under green flag conditions. So with that all being said, I think Aardvark is in a pretty decent spot here. It'll be about 10 laps or less to go of the race to get things situated, but once again, it's he'll need a good restart crucially. That's gonna be the big thing for him here. Is getting a good restart and just trying to keep Jackal and Wintercat behind. The field will be bunched up there, so it'll be a bit easier, but then again, Jackal and Wintercat have just not been able to pass anybody, really. They haven't really been able to pass each other, pass Aardvark. Just trying to stay behind the leader is a difficult one here. It's also strategic if you want to try to save your battery and save your bravery for one lunge towards the final few laps, maybe around lap 31 to 32, maybe on the final lap as well. So safety car is still going to continue running around here. And it'll be another lap under safety car condition. So we have about 10 laps to go here in the race so far. It'll be a minimum of, or maximum of 9 laps of racing if the safety car does come in this next time around. Aardvark does lead the pack ahead of Jackal, Wintercat, and DNV, Nishka, Dona Gorilla, Symphonic, Moinabs, Patrick, Kumar, Dutch Verstappen, championship leader. And then we have Minmeh, Flying Kiwi, Quiet Cake, Salmons, and Jay Toozy. That is our current race order at the moment. If Dutch Verstappen, I think Dutch Verstappen might still clinch the championship. I'd have to check in with some officials on that one, but so we're going to get back going here with, it'll be 9 laps to go once we do get back going here. I do believe the safety car should be in this lap. We do have a majority of the cars tucked in behind it, so we'll just have to see, because honestly, I mean, this could be, if Aardvark gets the bad launch, then Jackal's got pretty much everything in the tank to really just get this move done and dusted, so we'll know here pretty soon. I think as soon as Sector 3 kicks off, we will know if the safety car does come in this time around. It should. We'll wait for the official announcement. I don't think it would go around another time, but maybe. It might actually go around one more time. Yeah, so it is going around another time, so I thought it was actually coming in this time. So it'll be 8 laps to go when we do go ahead and get back under green flag conditions here. So we should be getting started on lap number 26, and Milano has been disconnected from the session, and I was going to try to re-invite him, and then I remembered that he is a driver that is out, so that is unfortunate. Alright, so here's the question. And actually, we'll put this prediction in while we got time. Actually, I'm going to wait on that prediction because I think I kind of know the answer now, but you know, we'll still do it just for the fun of it. Just going to go ahead and get this typed in. Safety car is coming in this lap, so Aardvark will go ahead and give us a start. So here it is. Will Aardvark lead by the beginning of lap 27? That is going to be the prediction that's coming out in chat. So if he crosses the line for lap 27, and he is still in the lead, then he will go ahead and win that prediction. So prediction is in chat, and here we go. We're going racing again. So remember, he can lose the position to Jackal, but as long as he gets back in the lead, and if he is in the lead by the beginning of lap 27, then then you will win the prediction. So that is our prediction that we have going on, chat. A very good launch there from Aardvark here. And we will just have to see who can go ahead and make up any positions. And it looks like Jacko is actually going to be under a good amount of pressure from Wintercat here. Wintercat's really in a rough spot. He's got dirty air from the car up ahead, trying to make the attack. I think that's the big thing for Aardvark. And actually, Aardvark has broken DRS. Granted, DRS won't be a factor in this lap. It'll be on lap 27 when DRS does come into play. And we'll just kind of have to see, is he going to go ahead and lead at the end of the lap? And it looks like if you voted yes, it looks like you have won. Good job. Some drama happening here. Nishka and, looks like Nishka's trying to battle the Ferraris. It's Ferrari v. Williams here as they continue to fight it out. And that is correct. So he did lead by the beginning of lap 27. So if you guys did vote yes, which it looks like everybody did, and sure enough. So we'll just have to see. And actually, Aardvark's had a fantastic restart here. Jackal had a decent restart, but Aardvark's was just that much better. So it'll be interesting. Quiet is on a soft tire, so that's one I'm going to be personally interested in. He's the only driver on the soft tire, and he has a little bit of a tap against Moe Nabs there in P8. A little bit of a love tap, trying to get past, trying to get a move here so he can try to go on. If Dutch Verstappen finishes ahead of his teammate, and that's an audacious move around the outside. If Dutch Verstappen, I think all he has to do is really just finish ahead of his teammate, and he does win the championship here tonight. Otherwise, it goes to Canada, where it will surely be decided from there. We will see Quiet Cake trying to go ahead and close the gap. And Moe and Quiet Cake's got a 3-second penalty, so this is potential. That is potential to kind of decide the championship there. So once again, I mean, it only takes one thing to really shake up the championship. And Kiwi is out, so it is a double Sauber retirement. Patrick gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations himself. So that is going to be another penalty on the night as Kiwi is out of the race. And now we are down to 15. So we are down to 15 drivers left on the track. And it's a tough night for the Saubers as they are out. The other drivers we have lost Asif, Old Footy Bender, and Milano. And then the two Saubers. So funny enough, the current retirees are actually in a Sauber sandwich if you look at the timing table. But jumping back to the important things at hand, Quiet Cake is trying to use those soft tires to good effect here as we are closing it on the final 5 laps here. We'll be at that stage here shortly, and it is going to be an absolute doozy to see. Jacko does at the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He's going to try to shake for a move. He looks one way, he looks for another, but once again, the defensive driving from Aardvark, putting his car in a really good defensive position, just prevents Jacko from getting that move done and dusted. 5 laps to go here on the night. And it's going to be a fast and furious shootout here between these guys. And I mean, they're going to absolutely just throw everything at each other to try to get something to stick and for a position to be lost or gained. It's all to play for here. These teams are also still, I mean, taking away the Drivers' Championship out of Div 5 here tonight. These guys are still fighting to try to do good for their team in the overalls, because once again, you really don't have a lot of chances left in the overalls to really give it a go. I mean, after this race, you only got 2 more chances to score it up for Div 5. So, I mean, it's going to take everybody from every division to try to maximize the results for the overalls here. And we will see. Aston Martin currently leading that one, but with one Aston out, a McLaren out of both Astons, and then also the Ferrari's in a pretty good spot. And Dutch Verstappen is out! Dutch Verstappen, the championship leader, is out of the race. He will not clinch the championship, and penalties are all over the place. 10 seconds for Patrick, 10 seconds for Sammons. I think Symphony got a 3-second. And so, with only a handful of laps left to go, it'll be... this is insane. So there's probably only going to be 2 laps of racing left to go here in this one. We have lost another driver, so we have lost 6 drivers on the night. Hopefully it won't be 7, as we do have some drivers in the pits now, as we have 4 laps to go, soon to be 3, and speeding under safety car. Donut Grilly gets a drive-through. So it is absolute drama here in the final stages of the Spanish Grand Prix. And honestly, I was expecting something insane to happen. I was expecting some good racing and maybe something insane, but I mean, this just went from, you know, a simple proceeding of just drivers trying to maximize the strategy and maximize the tire wear and stuff like that, to now just objective survive. I think that's going to be everybody's objective at this stage of the race, is just to survive. I mean, at minimum, you're probably going to have about 2 laps of racing left to go here on the night, so it's going to be difficult for these guys. And I mean, once again, it's going to be all to play for. All to play for here, and I mean, here's the thing. Aardvark has been really good on the restart, so I think he's pretty much just about got this race bagged up for the win here. But then again, I mean, considering how the rest of this race has unfolded in a crazy manner, I'm not super surprised. I guess now it's a good time that we need to really start looking at driver of the day, because I mean, you blink at this one's already almost over, so. Ooh. It's kind of a difficult one, because like everybody who's made up several good positions is got pens, so I'll leave this one to you guys. Give me some names. Give me some names in chat, and we will go ahead and put some names in for driving today. Safety car is in this lap, and it'll be 2 laps to go here. We're about to get racing here. And just going to get some names down for driver of the day. We'll get a few names up here. And here we go. They're going racing in on the penultimate lap of the race here. And it's going to be fast and furious. We're going to put this. You guys have a minute to go to get your votes in for driver of the day. Whoever wins the driver of the day, or whoever wins the poll, will get driver of the day. Now we gotta see who's gonna win the race here, as it is gonna be a real fight. I mean, these guys, they got 2 laps to do it, and only 1 lap with DRS. So Jackal's really he's gonna put in the work to try to stay close to Aardvark if he wants any shot of winning this race. J2 gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violation. So, I mean, I don't even know how this whole field is going to look. I mean, top 3 don't have any penalties at the moment, so it's going to be a really interesting one. Aardvark I think he might have it, because you're only going to have 1 DRS shot on this track, and I think Aardvark, as long as he just keeps it within the white line and doesn't get penned, then this race should be as good as his. So we'll just go to see how this goes. And Aardvark is going to lead on the final lap of the Grand Prix. And they're making their way down into turns number 1 and 2. And there we go. Quiet Cake is now pretty much right on the back of NDNV. Symphonic actually making a position onto Wintercat. And there's a lot of battling happening here through the field. And it looks like J2's trying to get a move on to Minmay. Some chaos going on here. Oh, that's a tapping moment there. Wintercat, Minmay, and J2Z having a bit of a moment there. Moe Navs will jump up there. And, I mean, it is all kicking off. I mean, it's kind of hard to see where to look at this stage of the race because you got a drama here in the midfield, drama a bit further back, but then you got the battle for the race lead. And actually, it looks like Aardvark has done everything right. And here we go. This is going to be a close one. But in the end, he has led every single lap of the race. And I think he was just shy of a Grand Slam here. But otherwise, a flawless weekend for Aardvark. Aardvark wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Jackal coming home in P2. NDNV rounding out the podium. And now we will see where these penalties lie for these drivers. And what a dramatic, pretty much dramatic final third of this race, because the first 2 thirds were pretty normal, and Donny Gorilla will get a 20-second time pen for a unserved penalty. So Aardvark will win Drive of the Day as well. He had 2 votes ahead of Symphonic and Jackal, who were tied. So yeah, that's going to end the race here today. We'll get our top 3 in for interviews. And yeah, I mean, what a good run it's been here this season. Jackal putting in good performance. Aardvark driving the wheels off of that Alpine. Playing a really good defensive masterclass. But there it is. There's the celebration. He's going to walk like an Egyptian onto the podium and celebrate a hard-earned victory there. Wow. Jackal did not make things easy for him. He was really pretty much just right there, keeping him honest and keeping him under pressure. And then the celebration is going to fly out, and NDNV survived without getting a pen. So he'll jump up on the podium, as well as the champagne reigns here in Barcelona. Everybody's celebrating a hard-fought race here today. And let's go and take a look at our superlatives here. Fastest lap does go to Salmons. And then cleanest driver does go to Wintercat. So there we go. That is everything pretty much done and dusted here. And we're going to go and run through our race results here. Before jumping to interviews, it is Aardvark winning ahead of Jackal. And DNV rounding out the podium. And then we have Quiet Cake, Nishka, Wintercat, Minmay, Moenab, Symphonic, J2Z, Kumar, Patrick, Donny Gorilla, Salmons, and then our retirees of Championship leader Dutch Verstappen, who have to wait 1 more week to clinch that title. And then Flying Kiwi, Asif, Old Footy Bender, Milano, and Daz, rounding out our field here tonight. So we need Aardvark, Jackal, and NDNV into the commentary booth to do some quick interviews, and then we will be on our way for the night. So here we go. We'll go to put in the request to see who we can get for an interview. Alright, we'll see who we can get here. We'll give it a few minutes, and if we don't get anyone by about 10 till, and then we'll go ahead and just wrap things up here. So, there we go. We got one driver at least. So we'll go to kick off interviews with our hard-fought race winner of... actually, we're going to go ahead and wait to see if we get everybody in officially. I think we're just waiting on NDMV, but we'll go ahead and start actually with Jackal. We'll start with P2. Jackal, you've been having some really strong results here in Div 5 as the Div 6 championship leader. So does this mean that you're gonna have a really good title chance next season for Div 5, or
Yeah, like to be honest, at the start I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm watching a movie. So, yeah, to come back from where I started, P4, I had more in the bank, but honestly, there was just a few challenges, and I had Hunter engineering. So, um, yeah, I got a DM basically from Hunter. He said, "Can you talk?" Haha, and I knew he was going to be my engineer. So,
yeah? And then I'll just go ahead and just jump straight to. I mean, just that last like third of the race where it just seemed like you'd blink and there's another safety car. So I mean, was that something that you kind of had to kind of worry about in terms of like, well, maybe my strategy is cooked, or do you think that it actually might have helped you out in the long run?
To be honest, we were coming into the safety car when the safety car came out, and there was a debate about, what should we put new tires on? And Hunter said, "Do you really need it?" And I said, "Not really." So that's why we chose to stay out.
Which was a smart call because I mean, if you can manage the tires, you could stretch them, especially under a safety car, because you really want to burn up about half or maybe a third of the tires that you normally would under regular racing conditions. So, taking a look at the next 2 weeks, the final 2 weeks of the season, I know you have a Div 6 race coming up, I believe. But in the meantime, Canada and China, final 2 rounds of the season. Do you have one track you prefer over the other? Are you going to be strong at both tracks? Struggle at both tracks? What are your thoughts on the final two?
Um, I'm pretty good at Canada, and I'm pretty bad at China, but I'm never worried. So,
Alright, last question before we go to let you go here. Is there anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to here tonight?
I want to just thank my engineer Hunter. He told me to put like I think it was like fill the car up with fuel in the safety in the quali. He said fill it with fuel. I don't know what, so
Alright, well, once again, congratulations on the P2, and we'll probably see you in Div 6.
yeah, thanks, bro. Love you.
Alright, we're going to jump down to NDNV driver who came in third place. So, NDV, how was the race from your perspective?
Oh, that was a shit show. I'll give it that. A lot of issues, but turned out okay in the end. So, yeah.
I mean, the first 2/3 of the race were actually pretty calm, pretty normal. Then you got to the final third of the race, and then everything just kind of went ballistic essentially. So, I mean, how did the safety cars affect your race? Do you think the safety cars helped out your race, or do you think there might have been more on the table?
The car definitely helped me, especially the first one, because race start my wheelbase disconnected. Yeah, lost full speed base. Had to
Ooh.
restart the base, and that dropped me back like 4 positions. Um, and yeah, so the first safety car helped me out real well. The last safety car I was a bit unsure of because I was catching up, and I was like, don't know if I can catch up the last 2 laps if safety car goes in. But yeah, some people had an incident and I managed to go through.
Indeed, yeah. So I mean, it's pretty crazy there just how quickly things escalated there in the final few, and I mean, your teammate was looking very likely to get a podium, and then he actually got a speeding under pit or safety car penalty. So that was a bit of an odd one. But taking a look at the next 2 rounds, it is going to be Canada and China. I'll ask you the same question I asked Jackal. Is there one track you prefer over the other, or do you think you're going to be strong at both or weak at both?
I've done Canada more than China, but fortunately for me, this is my last race for the season because I'm off on holiday, so won't be
I
racing the
see.
last two. So wish Ferrari good luck, and yeah, that's about it pretty much.
All right. Before we go and let you go here, is there anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to here tonight?
Shout out to my engineer, and of course Donut for stepping in as a reserve for Rory. Big help, try to give us points. I wasn't too flash for the last couple of races, wasn't in my zone, but try to do a good one before I send it off. So yeah, shout out to those two. Yeah, and the whole Ferrari team. So
Well, once again, congratulations on the podium and enjoy your holiday.
thank you.
All right, so we're going to jump on board with the final interview of the night here. And it is the driver who has fought tooth and nail to hold on to that P1. It is Aardvark. How you doing today, mate?
I am stressed to say the least. I was shaking towards the end because I didn't know if I'd actually be able to hold on to that position. The amount of safety cars kept freaking me out. Yeah, it was a bit of a silly show towards the end there. The amount of safety cars kind of freaked me out. I'm like, oh no. But I played it cool, played it safe, didn't pit. I'm like, all right, cool. I can take these hards to the end. I know I can. I've done it before. I can do it again. And so I did. And it was really, really good to see that. So I was able to take home the win with the aid of the safety cars, but as well as just my outright pace. So yeah, it's quite a tough race tonight.
Yeah, this actually makes it back-to-back wins for Alpine here at Spain because they won in Div 2 yesterday with Broadsta also defending like his life depended on it. Did it ever cross your mind to attempt the Oblivion strategy, as I like to call it, where you go about 17 or 18 laps on the set of mediums, then jump onto the hards, or would you have much rather did the strategy that you actually pulled off?
I'd rather do the strategy I pulled off. Unfortunately, my tire wear levels can be quite abysmal at times, which can cause me a bit of stroof here and there. Obviously, I had done a lot of work not to manage my pace, but rather just to manage my tire wear in Spain. Lots of practice, just trying out different setups, trying to see which one fancied my tire wear, and I eventually found one that was able to kind of just get me to the end with the tire wear, so it was amazing.
Indeed. And last two questions before we go to let you go. It is going to be Canada next week, followed by China. So how confident are you that you're going to be able to maximize the results to try to get Alpine up into the top three, maybe even the win for the overalls?
Yeah, as confident as I'd like to be for the overalls, I don't see myself getting there. But I
I think we lost you.
will not be at China. Oh, can you hear me?
All I heard was won't be at China.
Oh, I won't be at Canada, but I will be at China.
Gotcha. All right. So, well, I'm not gonna answer that one. Last question before we go to let you go. Is there anyone that you'd like to thank or shout out here tonight?
I'd like to thank Mars, my engineer, for keeping it absolutely calm in the voice chat tonight, and an absolute god strategy that he pulled out. So I really, really appreciate it from me.
All right. Once again, congratulations on the win and also driver of the day, and we'll see you in China. Alright everybody, that's going to go to wrap things up here in Rush Racing League Division number 5. It was a pretty dramatic race right there at the end with a good amount of safety cars, kind of really throwing a wrench into the works for some drivers, helping some, messing up others. So it's another dramatic weekend here in Div 5, but tune in next time when Div 6 takes the track here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Once again, I want to give a special thank you to Sim Racing Center, SimLab, Pagny and Advanced Simulation, and AR369. And of course, the Twitch chat for being as amazing as always. And on behalf of Rush Racing League, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus. I've been your host and commentator for tonight's race, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.